All right, team. You're looking at a 2021 Dutch Star. That's a 4369, and it is Onan 10K generator maintenance time. So we're going to go ahead and do an oil change on this generator, and then later we're going to do an air filter change. But for now, let's take a look at the oil filter and what we need to do. So here you are at your under the driver cockpit, and that is where the front nose bonnet release is. So that is this handle right here. So we want to pull that out to release the nose bonnet. So we're now able to get in. This does not have a hydraulic slide on the generator, so you have another release. That second release is right back over here. If you can see the T handle right here. So this is two releases, one under the driver and then the second one here. Yep. Now you're good. You can see that release is nice. It's a real easy release. So here you are. You're looking at the Onan Cummins 10K quiet diesel. This is a Kubota engine to my memory. And so write down your specs and the things you're going to want to know for this oil change. First of all, what kind of oil? My understanding is we're running a diesel 1540. And then how much? My understanding is that it's 1.6 gallons. So, and then you'll want to have your your generator off. And then you will be into the cabinet for the oil. And guess what? On some of those old 7.5s, you had to take a door off the bottom of the engine. And yeah, I've cleaned it up a little in here. But by the way, here's some specs down here, which will tell you the HDK, all of that for the 10K diesel, and then on top of that the Spec, which this one is a Spec H. There's some code numbers. Now here is your inspection door, right? That's an easy handle. Oop, that's all there is to it. And then you're going to remove this. This probably takes two hands, but I'll mention this door is hinged with a tab. I'm going to do this with a knee and a hand. The tabs go back into the right side of the door. So when you put it back, angle those tabs back into the door slots, and then swing the door shut and latch it. So that's, now you're in, and guess what? There's the oil filter right there. Now I have an oil filter, and by the way, here's your oil check dipstick. I checked it. It's full. At Spec, it's black and dirty like most. All right, now let's get into the Onan Quiet Diesel 10K and take a look at where we drain the oil. That is the oil drain plug. Fuel lines, ground, and hot. This is my favorite Pittsburgh toolkit, thanks to my lovey. All the latches open and the foam out of the way. And now we need a pretty good sized socket. And I see the largest one I have is this one here. That's a 3/8 inch drive. He says that's a 1/2 inch drive. The oil filter that cross-referenced in was this one. I'll also show you the tag on the side of the engine. And so that's where we're headed. I went ahead, there were three choices. I went ahead with one of the higher end choices. This one's more like $16 or $17. But that's because it does have a nut on the top of it. Let's see if that pays off. I do have an oil filter wrench with me as well. And then you can probably see I'm using Rotella 1540 in the generator, so that's those two oils. And I have a series of oil funnels. Now I carry these around. The big one I use for oil changes on the back of the Cummins 400 or 450 because of the shape of the engine and the oil access. We'll talk about that later. Meantime, these others I have for other applications, everything from DEF to a generator oil change. And so over here I keep this big oil bin. It's just enough for the oil out of the engine on the 400. So I think it'll work when I do the engine oil on this one. But for now, it's just the generator oil, and that is 1.6 gallons. I've got a creeper to help get up under there, but I'll also keep a handful of cardboard. And so here we are in our storage, but this cardboard, I always have a piece ready so that I can stretch it under the coach and get in there. So, all right, we are under the coach. I believe that to be the oil drain plug. So we're going to start and run the generator and get that oil hot. There's the oil drain plug, and our mission is to simply get that started out. And that may take 2 hands. Let's see what we can do with this. All right, into the coach. Here we know the generator start. Now we haven't removed any oil. I've done an oil check to see how much it had. It's dirty, but it's full. So let's go ahead and get that started. Our generator's running. And I'm going to go ahead and bring that air conditioning up. So it's on mode off. We'll set her on mode cool. And then wait for that load to kick in. Alright, now you can feel the AC. And the temperature's beginning to drop on that fan air. So we'll let that kind of work its magic. Our generator has been running a while. We're now going to take the load off and then let it cool down before we shut it down. So then I'm going to give it about 5 minutes running unloaded or less. And then we'll go ahead and change the oil. Alright, it looks like the oil is drained out nicely after splattering all over my Makita light. So at this point, I believe we can drag the oil pan out. We'll slip the drain plug back up in, give it a good look for if it's got a magnet on the back of it for any particles. And then we'll start the refill and replace filter part of this project. Okay, one thing we will do, and I understand with these side spin-on oil filters that you don't have to pre-fill them, but we do want to go ahead and make sure that this seal is wet with oil. Okay, she's losing it. Alright, there's our filter. And now we have the fill, which is here 1.6 gallons is the appropriate amount. We'll do something like 1.4 or 1.5. The spec says run 1540 for the temperature ranges we live in. So that's what I'm doing. There we are. You can see where we read right now. right at the top line. We don't have any leaks on the top or the bottom of the engine. Everything is sealed up solid. All right, let's reinstall the door right there in those hinges. They're now into their slots. And then close that door up. And I think we are good. She's all latched up. All right, that's another finished project for RV Shop and Chef. So, tschüss.